Welcome to Gutter Trash, episode 201. Punisher, Circle of Blood. My name is Eric.
And I'm Jason.
How's it going?
It is going delightful.
That's good.
Lee.
Whatever.
I think it needed I think it's required an adverb.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I'm not positive.
Me neither.
Who are we? Diane from Cheers? We don't know.
Nope. Well, for starters, both of us have bigger tits.
Oh, man.
It's true.
Shelley Long.
Yep. Hey, welcome back.
Yeah?
Back to normal business.
Yeah. Yeah, we're here again.
Business as usual.
Back in the office. Back
in the offices of Gutter Trash Studios.
Mm-hmm. Welcome yourself, sir.
Yeah. So yeah, it's too bad that you couldn't join us for the 200th celebration.
Well, I thought as a treat for the listener, for slogging through the previous 199 episodes, I would give them a reprieve.
Well, we missed you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I was there. I just didn't talk loud enough to be heard. Apparently. I haven't listened to the recording yet. Is it like inaudible?
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Kathleen also was very minuscule throughout the episode.
Are you making fun of her height, sir?
I am.
Okay.
But you also couldn't hear her.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't see her over the table, and I couldn't hear her in my headphones.
Well, we did sort of fool around under the table for most of the recording procedure,
okay.
So that's probably why you didn't hear us. It's just something about whenever she sees, like, Smokey and the Bandit on whatever format that was before Laserdisc that looks like Laserdisc, she just gets hot and bothered. And, GameSwap is a Twitter with things like that.
Right.
So we had to disappear for a while.
I think were those video discs?
Video discs, that's what it was. Yeah, they have like dozens of those things.
Oh yeah, they do.
I had never, ever heard of that format.
Really?
Until I was at GameSwap last, like a year ago or 2 years ago.
Right. Oh wow, when I was a kid, I had some neighbors, these twin brothers, and they had like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory on video disc. They had like random episodes of Masters of the Universe.
What?
Oh yeah.
So they were kind of like 8 tracks, right? Where you watch them and then all of a sudden it just like explodes and like shoots out and like makes
no, but you did have to like you had to turn them over,
right?
Yeah,
in the middle of the movie,
pop them out of the machine and then flip them over and then put it back in. They look like giant floppy disks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does it have like logos on the disc?
Oh yeah, it had like full, like almost album-sized art.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know the box does. Or is that the actual?
Yeah, even the disc.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah, those aren't the boxes.
Those are the
things.
That's the way you pop in. It's like a cartridge for an old Nintendo or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like like bigger than a record.
Yeah, it's like slightly bigger than a vinyl record. Wow. Yeah, I'd never heard of that format. Was that like just so like short-lived?
I guess. I mean, yeah, my friends, they were the only people I knew that ever had that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen it since, other than, when they started showing up at GameSwap. Like, I wouldn't even know what type of machine would be needed to play them.
It's probably something so large it wouldn't even fit inside of GameSwap.
Right.
No, those things are ridiculous. I even remember the first time I saw a Laserdisc, and like I was always, when I was younger, super impressed with technology. Maybe Laserdiscs are the reason I don't like new technologies anymore. Because I remember I went over to my friend's house, and he was a lot older than me because he was my brother's buddy. and me and my brother went over there and we were going to watch Backdraft on Laserdisc. Cause this guy was a fireman. His name was Doug the fireman. And he had just got this brand new technology called a Laserdisc player, and none of us had ever even heard of it. And then he pulled it out and we started watching it and we were like, wow, it's so crisp looking on his TV and it was amazing. And like halfway through the movie, it just goes black. And he was like, we were like, what? What happened? He's like, oh, I gotta flip it over. And I was like, I don't like this thing. I think that was whenever I first was, dubiously looking at new technology.
Right. And now they have, Blu-rays, which, ideally can hold, 50 gig worth of information on it. Which is a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
It's like 10 of my flash drives.
Yeah. That, you have a low resolution movie, you can put like 20 movies on a thing.
So why do they not put a bunch of movies in there?
Because, I'm sure there are some that have multiple movies. But mostly because, it's high def and you want the highest quality possible, and that uses up the most space on the disc.
But ideally, you could buy like a Blu-ray that has all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies on it.
Ideally, yeah.
Wow, that would be cool.
I'm pretty sure that actually exists.
Wow. Okay, I'm back in. New technology.
Yeah. In fact, I saw something today. I was looking for something, and I saw a Blu-ray that had Superman the movie, Superman 2, and Superman 2 the Donner cut on one Blu-ray.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I'm sure the quality on them is not that great.
Just
comparatively.
Right.
It's probably the DVD quality. Just,
I think that's always been like the case though. It's like, when cassettes came out or CDs came out, like even when CDs first came out, they weren't as high quality. And then like they fixed it pretty much right away. But, it's always like quantity versus quality because like cassette tapes were so portable and convenient, but you suffered a little bit on the quality of the sound.
Yeah.
Right? I don't mind a little quality loss as long as like the convenience makes up for it.
Right. It depends on what it is. Like my theory is like when I buy Blu-rays or DVDs is I'm not going to buy a Blu-ray for a movie that's over 10 years old.
Right. Yeah. Unless like they've just restored it somehow.
Right. But yeah, if it's like, the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd movie, comes out on Blu-ray, then, I'm fine with the DVD on that.
Yeah. Maybe even the VHS, if you still have a player.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when they go back and, they digitally remaster all these classic albums.
Right.
Even some 70s, classic rock, but I mean, I've even seen like Sonic Youth albums being remastered, and it's like, part of the charm of some of that stuff is the noise and the like, the lo-fi quality of it, and like, I don't know, you can almost like process it too much where instead of fixing it, you're actually harming.
Yeah, but on the other hand, it's also can be very good. I had the, Black Sabbath, first 4 albums, remastered. I listened to those, and, man, like, it's still got, everything that you love about Black Sabbath, in it, but, like, suddenly you can hear, like, there's, like, extra guitar parts that you've never heard before in songs, like extra bass riffs that they just, were
too muddled.
Yeah, just hidden, like, in the mix.
That is kind of intriguing, actually. Yeah. I would kind of like to hear that. But, I mean, at the same time, if I never did hear it,
exactly.
I'd still love those albums.
All right. Well, this has been Tech Talk.
Speaking of old things that maybe could use some touching up quality-wise.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And maybe in spots.
Yeah. The Punisher, Circle of Blood. Also known as the very first Punisher miniseries.
Yeah.
What year is this? 19.
I'm gonna guess 86. I think it was 86.
I agree with you because that's what it says.
Yeah.
Hey. So this is the original miniseries that came out after. But he had only appeared in a couple of Spider-Man issues here and there.
Yeah, like 129 and some in the 130s, I think.
Yeah, maybe some other random spots here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember reading one story, like the reprint of. It was a story with the Punisher and Spider-Man and Nightcrawler.
Yeah. I think those are the 130s where they're like on the Statue of Liberty. Yeah. Good stuff. Man, early Punisher. I remember when I was a kid, that was my brother's favorite character, and I was like, why do you like this guy? He doesn't even wear a mask. He's, he's not cool. And then he was like, just read this. And then he handed me some of the Spider-Mans. And I was like, oh my god, he's awesome.
Yeah.
He kills people. And he doesn't even wear a mask. He doesn't hide his face.
Nope. He is publicly known. Frank Castle. The Punisher. So yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. The Punisher fandom.
Yeah.
Cause it can get extreme at times, I think.
You mean how he, just his fandomness?
Yeah.
It seems like it's not there anymore though. But I mean, it seems like in the 80s and 90s it was, it seems like Deadpool's kind of taken over where, you would have
he's a funny Punisher.
Yeah.
Without any motivation.
Yeah. That's so much better. No, I like Punishers a lot better.
I do as well. I mean, I will say this about Deadpool. He is, probably the one character created in comics in the last 30 years or so that has, gained so much popularity, especially recently, in the past 10 years, that it's insane.
Yeah.
He's also a character that is, completely different than, how he was originally conceived.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly for the better.
Yeah, it wasn't nearly as funny.
Yeah.
First time around.
He was Deathstroke, who talked a lot.
But I mean, I almost feel like I shouldn't even say, because I really don't find the Deadpool stuff funny.
Oh, it's not, but
I mean, it's meant to be funny.
Right,
It's like saying Ray Romano is a comedian. Sure, he's a comedian.
Right.
He's just not funny.
Well, that's also personal taste.
Yeah,
an
exactly.
opinion. Because, who knows, maybe Ray Romano is actually a really funny comedian. I can't say that his show is awful.
Yeah.
At least Everybody Loves Raymond is awful.
Oh yeah, he might be hilarious.
Right, yeah. Because obviously, comedians and their acts and their primetime sitcoms are obviously going to be two different things.
Right, like your Bob Saget's.
Right,
yeah. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I always thought that guy was not funny at all until I saw some of his stand-ups. So.
Right. Punisher or something. Deadpool.
Yeah, you were talking about the Punisher, how it's it was this thing. It was
this
juggernaut when we were kids.
Yeah.
He was kind of like the Venom of the 80s, sort of.
Kind of.
Maybe it was maybe it was Punisher and then Venom and then Deadpool. Because there's always a dark, popular character.
Right, with Wolverine all the way through.
Yeah. You can't get rid of Wolverine.
No.
He's just the best.
I mean, I remember, I'm sure you remember too, the big deal when it was, the Punisher Wolverine Ghost Rider crossover.
Heart of Darkness?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Hey, John Romita Jr., man.
Oh yeah.
He tore that shit up.
Yeah. But yeah, I think all three of them all guest starred in each other's books, right around the same time too.
Oh yeah. That whole Midnight Suns thing.
Yeah. Maybe not so much that, but...
Wasn't Punisher in that? Maybe not.
I don't think so, no. But that was definitely a Ghost Rider thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just... he's such a simple character. Occasionally not even that much of a character.
The Punisher?
Yeah. He's just sort of I don't know.
he's kind of like he's kind of
one note.
yeah, but I mean, he's kind of like Batman without the cool, like, imagery.
Right,
yeah. Yeah, he's like an imageless Batman, you know.
But
just
he does have a very cool image, though.
with a big skull.
Yeah, I mean, the costume is awesome.
Yeah.
And, I mean, probably one of the last iconic costumes ever made.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you know, what other... And it's weird, he's not a superhero, but, you know, what other super heroic character out there has, since then, has had such an instantly recognizable
Yeah.
thing, you know?
Probably not. Probably nothing really since then.
Right.
But they don't create new characters anymore. That's something of the past.
Well, that is true. But even when they did, and even indie comics or
Right.
Image, you know,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah, Hellboy with his hands, you know.
yeah, but I mean,
Right. No,
you know what I'm saying. You know, you see a black T-shirt with a white skull on it, the first thing that you think of immediately is the Punisher,
Right. Or Glenn Danzig.
or the Punisher.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point.
That said, I've actually not read that many Punisher comics.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you read the Garth Ennis stuff?
I read some of it.
Mm-hmm.
I read the initial 12-issue series, the Welcome Back Frank story. I think I read like the first 6 issues of Punisher Max.
Yeah. Those are good.
Yeah, those were very good. I tried to read the follow-up storyline and was bored to tears and dropped it.
Really?
Yeah.
I probably made it maybe like, I don't know, 30 issues in.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I really liked that whole Punisher Max series. But yeah, Welcome Back Frank is great.
Yeah, yeah. Before that, I think I read the first issue of the Marvel Knights Punisher.
Oh.
Angel powered
Yeah.
demon killing Punisher
Right.
that Bernie Wrightson drew for some reason.
Did he really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking that was Pat Lee for some reason.
No, I mean he did like there was like a Wolverine Punisher thing that he did.
That's what I'm thinking of.
That was after that, but yeah, no,
Wow,
Bernie Wrightson
Bernie
drew the
Wrightson.
first one. Yeah.
I did not know that. Or if I did, it disappeared from my brain.
Well, it's better off that way.
Oh, is it bad?
Yeah. I mean, the first issue was terrible. That's all I read.
But the art was probably good.
Oh, the art was amazing. Yeah. It's just too bad that it was what it was. Then there was a Punisher reboot in like the late 90s that John Ostrander and Tom Lyle worked on.
Oh, yeah.
The first issue had the Punisher being electrocuted, but it was fake. And then he worked for the mob.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And he had a ponytail.
That's not so cool.
No.
Frank Castle does not need a ponytail.
And then other than that, I read the first 8 issues of Punisher Warzone.
Oh, yeah.
That's, Chuck Dixon and John Romita Jr.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
That was very good stuff.
I think one of my favorite comic covers ever is the issue where he's like mowing the lawn in the shape of the skull. Do you remember that?
No, I don't know.
There's a Punisher Warzone cover. I forget what number it is, but he's got one of those riding mowers and he's just mowing his lawn with his skull.
Let's see. I think I read the issue where he became a black guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't that, wasn't that like a crossover with Luke Cage, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think that's it. I think that's all I had ever read.
I think, yeah, you've read probably about the same amount as I have, maybe even a little more.
Yeah. Because this is my first time reading this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd read it once when I was probably like 12.
Yeah. I never found a copy. I've had issues 2 through 5 of this series for probably about 10 years now, and have never been able to find an affordable copy of issue number 1. So I never read it, because what's the point if you don't have the first issue?
Right. Yeah.
And then a couple weeks ago at Mavericks, you had the trade paperback of this out that I convinced you to sell to me for $5.
Because it was like a used copy. Right?
It was a used copy. You were trying to not.
Because it's a classic, and I believe it's out of print.
It is, yeah. Well, I mean, that version of it is. It's still in print.
Is it?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't know. It was...
The premiere editions or whatever. Yeah, they're still out there.
Right.
But yeah, you were trying to sell this to me for, the cover price. The thing was falling apart. It's not here with me because pages are falling out.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So it was worth the $5.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool, then.
Yeah. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. I was worried. I'm always worried whenever we read anything from the 80s,
Right.
especially like superhero stuff,
Yeah.
because I'm just worried that it's going to be awful.
And not only that, but it crushes part of your soul because
A little bit, yeah.
you remember it so fondly.
Right. Or like, in the case of something like this, that I had never read before, it would be one of those things, why do people love this?
All right.
This is super good.
It really is.
Except, let's go ahead and get to it, the final issue.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it has a different tone, I think, than the rest of the issues.
Oh, are you talking about issue 4?
I'm talking about issue 5.
See, I didn't read issue 5 because all the other issues says 1 in a 4-issue series, and I was wondering why you gave me this extra comic. I was like, what's this bonus comic you put in here? I don't have time to read that.
It does. Wow. I had not noticed.
For some reason, number 2 says number 2 in a 5-issue series,
Yeah.
but all the other ones say number 1 and 3 and 4 of a 4-issue series.
Right. And then number 5 says 5 in a 5-issue limited series.
And I remember being perplexed by that since I was a kid, but I actually looked it up today because I was like, I want to know why that is.
Okay.
And it was because number 1, as it professes here on the cover, is a double-sized first issue.
Yeah.
Number 4 was also supposed to be a double-sized final issue, and they were running behind, so they made it into 2 separate issues, and that's why they split the creative team up.
Okay.
So they were both working on it at the same time.
That's why issue 5 is weird.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I could tell because the art is not Mike Zeck.
Right.
But yeah, like the dialogue also was a little weird.
Yeah, it was like Joe Duffy.
Joe Duffy, yeah.
I mean, it's like they I guess they still worked off of Stephen Grant's scripts.
Plot, right, yeah.
Right.
But still, yeah, it's weird. And
It's a little jarring.
yeah. Especially when, no offense to that guy personally, whoever he was, but,
Who was that guy? Let's see. Mike Vosberg.
okay. He is no Mike Zeck.
Who is?
Mike Zeck is.
I know, right?
Mike Zeck is fucking awesome. And not enough people are talking about it.
I am with you. I would say, if I had to pick the most, I think, I swear I know Jack Kirby, kind of, started this whole, dynamic, camera angle for superheroes, because before that it was pretty straightforward,
Right.
and, everything was flat, and, Jack Kirby added a lot of depth, but, Mike Zeck is amazing with, camera angles and, perspective, and, his, those G.I. Joe covers he did in the 80s.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Some of the best covers ever.
Yeah. Like I said, I've never been a gigantic Punisher fan, but ever since I started collecting comics, every time I've thought of the Punisher, I always think of Mike Zeck.
Yeah.
I even, back in the early 90s had a Punisher t-shirt that Mike Zeck did the art for.
Yeah.
And
Do you have the Punisher poster somewhere?
No, I do have the Mike Zeck Captain America Wolverine
Oh,
poster.
yeah, that's what you have. Yeah. My brother used to have the Mike Zeck Punisher poster where he's like spraying machine gun fire.
Right,
It was on
right.
his closet door.
In 1990, there was a computer game, The Punisher, that came out, and I had a copy of that. And it was one of my favorite games I've ever played, and like even a couple of years ago, I managed to snag a copy and played it a little bit. And it has Mike Zeck art, like in the splash screens and. Like,
Oh,
the
wow,
intro.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
On the actual game?
Yeah.
I thought you just were going to say on the box art. That's
No,
awesome.
Like, yeah, it was the box art too.
Right.
But yeah, like the splash screens or whatever that they show, like in between, gameplay, was like, like even from this series even, was some of his art,
That's awesome.
Digitized, pixelized.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, just Mike Zeck, and like, it's just, like when you first start reading comics, you're just like, yay, comics, and then like, as you get more and more into it, you start realizing that human beings make them.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say Mike Zeck is probably in like the top 5 of people that I figured out who they were.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I knew who he was for a long time, but like once I figured out that he's the guy that did all those like G.I. Joe covers and all
Right.
that, I was like, wow, that guy, yeah. But I mean, I don't think when I was a kid I knew his name. But yeah, he's like, yeah, like you said, I mean, not enough people like seem to ever mention his name. He seems like of that camp like Kevin Nolan where I bet every professional comic artist is like, Mike Zeck is the shit.
Right.
He's kind of like the Faith No More of comic book artists, where like every musician thinks they're amazing, but nobody ever talks about them.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, he's clearly the shit, but nobody at a shop ever talks about him.
Right. Yeah, he is amazing. Like I'm looking through this book and, the trade paperback is a little bit cleaner than, obviously the single issues are.
Right.
So there's some retouching up to it, but, but it's still like, I think that book came out in like 2000, something like that. So it's still printed with that sort of
Dot pattern. Kind
right,
of,
yeah. But even that, I'm looking at the art and it's gritty, it's realistic, and it's cartoony,
Yeah.
and it's over the top. How the fuck?
Yeah, it really is. I was gonna say something about how he's really, proficient at the cartoon language. I mean, there's a lot of like, I mean, not like, like Beetle Bailey style cartoon imagery,
Right, yeah.
but I mean, there's a lot of like cartoon, like sort of like tropes and effects or whatever, where like when people move and you see the movement lines and everything, like he's got like the cartoony down, but yeah, it's so like it's got like a realistic, like gritty feel to it. And
Right.
man, I love that combo. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good image, but I mean, like, I know whenever, he's in prison, because it starts out Frank Castle, is in prison. I mean, yeah, like, just whenever he grabs people and punches people, there's all these just motion lines and, like, those, like, little, not sweat beads coming off their head, but, like, just little lines, like,
Right.
surprise lines, and he's amazing.
He is fantastic. So many iconic drawings of the Punisher in this that, even to this day still sort of,
You still
I
see him.
think influences,
Oh, yeah.
the modern Punisher books.
You still see him on posters and video games and,
Right.
strippers' tattoos. My tramp stamp is a Mike Zeck Punisher.
Right.
Yeah. I thought it was weird that you went with the Jim Lee one, but
Well, everybody loves Jim Lee.
it was, you just walked in, you were drunk, it was on the flash art.
Right.
You're just like, that one, right there.
there have been a ton of great artists that have worked on the Punisher too. Obviously, I don't think Jim Lee is great, but the majority of comic readers do.
Oh yeah, John Romita Jr.
John Romita Jr., Will Spertatio, Eric Larson,
Steve Dillon.
Steve Dillon, yeah, Tim Bradstreet,
Yeah.
John McCrae,
Yeah.
Derek Robertson.
Yeah. Did he?
Yeah,
Okay.
he did a couple of the Garth Ennis books.
Can you imagine a Mike Allred Punisher?
I can. But yeah.
It's pretty ginchy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I can even, cause, I remember the, Art Adams, new Fantastic Four
Oh yeah.
storyline that had a Punisher cameo for one panel.
Really? Just one panel?
Yeah.
That's funny.
So that Punisher game I was talking about actually, little ways follows the plot of this book.
Oh really?
Yeah. Basically, the Punisher is aligned with a group called the Trust, who are a group of concerned citizens who want to wipe out crime, and they're using the Punisher as a tool.
And they're like sort of high powered or strategically positioned to help him because they're not just some dudes that were hanging out at a bar like we should get rid of crime.
Right, yeah,
It's like a warden and like some other like positions of power.
Right.
I forget what they are.
We never really get introduced to most of them or any of them really.
Right.
We just learned that one of them is screwing the Punisher over. And that pretty much drives the rest of the story of the Punisher deciding that he doesn't like being screwed. Yeah. And also, there's like innocent lives being caught in the crossfire.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, there's some pretty heavy stuff in this miniseries.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's like innocent people being killed, which, like if you know anything about the Punisher's origin, like that's the whole reason he's around is,
right.
Some gangs, like, caught his family in the crossfire and his wife and daughter, I think, were killed.
2 kids.
2 kids, yeah.
Son and daughter. And yeah, like kids die in this. Like we see them get shot and murdered. It gets pretty dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gritty.
Yeah. But like even the dialogue is not, that over the top, 80s comic book, it's very naturalistic.
Yeah,
almost,
definitely. At least in there's you could tell, like maybe I did notice the credits right before I read the 5th issue, but it seemed like
it's a little.
I like the dialogue better in the first 4. Like it has a better flow.
Stephen Grant was the main writer. Don't know that I've ever read anything else by him.
I feel like I know I always get Alan Grant and Steve Grant mixed up, but
Right.
I feel like I've read other Steve Grant stuff. I don't know. Not sure though.
Me neither.
Sure, everybody that was worked in comics in the 80s did some Batman at one point, I'm sure.
Probably, yeah. But did they do, who wrote, what was it? 1,000 Nights of the Beast? 10,000 Nights of the Beast?
Oh, 10,000 Nights, yeah. That might have been a Grant.
Yeah, I know Mike Zeck drew it.
Was it Ulysses S. Grant?
Could have been Ulysses Grant, yeah.
What else is that guy famous for?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Mike Zeck too,
Yeah.
Maybe it was that pair.
I don't know. They obviously work great together.
Heck yeah.
At least, this.
Yeah, I mean, it's like almost 30 years old, 25 years old or whatever, isn't it? 25 years old?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. And, I mean, it still reads really well.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it even has, like, even the last issue, which we were both, I wouldn't say we're slagging the last issue, but
Yeah.
it definitely, like, has a little dip in quality because, it was rushed and whatever.
Right.
But, like, it's kind of heavy. I mean, like, it's got a good ending and, like, some powerful message. Like, all throughout the book, like you said, the Trust, they kind of want the same thing that the Punisher wants. They're trying to get rid of crime. But they, like, the one thing that they do differently is like if some innocents have to die, that's fine as long as it gets rid of crime in the long run.
Right.
Or the short run, because they're wanting to do it really fast. So it gets the Punisher to kind of question himself. Like, I think there's even a scene where a cop is talking to the Punisher when he's arrested him, and he's like, what's the difference between you and them anyway? And the Punisher's kind of like, yeah, because he's like, yeah, this is really similar. He's having to question his own character, and it's like well written.
Oh yeah, it's incredibly well written. I'm gonna say, like, I think the first issue is probably my favorite issue out of the entire batch. And I'm also gonna say probably one of the best prison breakout stories I've ever experienced.
I agree.
It's awesome.
The first issue is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
I love the stuff with Jigsaw.
Oh yeah.
That is amazing. Like his whole like cell, how it's just like set up like his, and like it's great looking back at it too, because it's supposed to be like, cutting edge technology, and he's got this giant TV with a big antenna, and like, it's supposed to look all suave, and like he's in the, the shit, he's doing good, but yeah, that first issue is fucking amazing. The whole prison stories are always good, but that one is top notch.
So, I think can easily be said, if you've never read this, go do it. It's excellent.
Apparently it's still in print. I wouldn't know because I just work in a comic shop. So obviously all I know about is the Return to Ravnica releases October 5th. Get your game on at Maverick.
I did have this thought while I was reading it, because I've been digging through a bunch of my old comics, and I found I have 2 copies of the original Wolverine series.
Oh, the Frank Miller?
Frank Miller, Chris Claremont. Yeah, I have the one of the original trade paperbacks of it, from the late 80s.
Oh, it's got like the white backgroundless cover.
Yeah,
and he's fighting a bunch of ninjas.
Yeah, it's like a weird size format too.
Yeah, it's kind of short.
Yeah. So I have that, and I have the premiere hardcover version of it, which just came out probably 6-7 years ago, something like that.
Right.
And I was flipping through that, and I noticed that they cleaned up all the coloring in it, and I gotta say that I like the way that the original trade paperback looks, with that dot pattern coloring, and the trade paperback version of this Punisher story has the similar thing, and so I know that the new version that's out there is going to have the cleaned up coloring.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to work as well.
Yeah, I think that's goes back to what we were talking about with the technology at the beginning of the show. Like I know there's faults in this. There's actually some words in some of the balloons here that I couldn't even read because it just it's garbled together. The letter, an E just looks like an O.
Right. Yeah.
And I had to make some leaps oh, I bet he's saying this. That happened more than one time while I was reading this. But even with that, like you said, it just has that feel and that look of that newsprint 80s and that kind of soft color. The color's real soft in spots. But usually when they recolor it and put it in trades, it's on bright white paper, and it's the color's so deep, and it almost completely changes the tone of it.
Well, even that trade is on a really nice white paper, but it's not glossy. It's a matte finish. It's thick. It works with the art, and then the same with the Wolverine thing. But yeah, once you see it on that glossy paper with computer enhanced coloring, I don't know, there's just something about seeing that old art with that new coloring that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I think recently, did Marvel re-release Amazing Fantasy number 15?
Yeah.
Completely recolored.
And that looked awesome. You didn't think so?
I don't agree at all.
Oh man, I loved that one. I thought that looked great.
No, I do not agree at all.
Usually I don't like it when they touch it up because it just seems like they're just put some deep colors, but it seems like they spend a lot of time, and I actually thought that was a good mix of that old art and the new color.
I guess maybe I'd have to take another look at it, but yeah, just my initial reaction to it was like, I don't think that needed it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it was sort of like just like an experiment.
Right.
I mean, I don't think it necessarily needed it because I think it looks great, you know, like from the 60s, but I do think they did it a little differently than they usually do, and I thought it worked a lot better.
I do remember, didn't they do that with Jim Lee's X-Men #1 recently?
Yeah.
I did think the coloring in that looked way better.
Agreed. Yeah. So I thought it was along more like those lines where, like.
But at the same time, like, you know, I think Jim Lee's art fits that style of coloring more than Steve Ditko.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I totally agree. But there's something about it I dug it. Like, cause even on the inside, there's, the cover to, Amazing Spider-Man #1 somewhere. And like, that cover, to me, never looked so good as it did in that new version.
Yeah, maybe I'll take another look at it.
Speaking of color, and before we stop talking about this book,
all right.
We're talking about how iconic these books have always been, like the imagery.
Right.
I think a lot of it, because when I think of the Punisher, if someone says, you know, the Punisher, I think of one of these covers of this miniseries.
Is it? Can I guess?
Well, no, it's
or
not.
Just any.
Yeah, but like most of them actually.
Right. I was going to guess number 3.
Number 3,
for sure.
Where he's standing in front of the like bullet-ridden target practice.
Yeah. I'm with you on that entirely.
Phil Zimmelman. Phil Zimmelman did the coloring on this.
Oh, okay.
And he's nothing to shake a stick at. Because I think he's one of those people like I love Jack Kirby's art, but when Vince Colletta inks Jack Kirby, I think it's like next level.
Right.
And
you are the only one.
I believe so. And I think the same thing about, like, cause I love Mike Zeck's art, but my favorite ever Mike Zeck art are the covers that Phil Zimmelman colored.
Right.
I
agree. You know, I mean, I think some of them are better than others, but when they are at their best, it is fucking amazing.
Did I ever tell you about the time I met Phil Zimmelman?
I'm going to tell you this. I have never heard the name Phil Zimmelman until just now.
Really?
Yeah. And it's almost off-putting how often we're saying it.
His name was Phil Zimmelman. His name was Phil. Okay. No, you know, okay. In the 90s, you know how Dayton never really had any big comic conventions, but they always had those little Holiday Inn ones.
Right, yeah.
The Jubilee conventions.
Yes.
Which I'm guessing are named after the Jubilee character from X-Men.
I don't think so.
No? Maybe not. Maybe it's just like the name of the promotion that put it together. But anyway, they always only ever had one guest. And like, it was never anybody huge, but it was never like just some guy that lives in Dayton and draws comics in his mom's basement.
I remember one being Bob McLeod, who was the original artist on New Mutants.
Yeah, see? I went to one where it was Jay Lee, but he was on his like second issue of Namor at the time.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, one of them that I went to was Phil Zimmelman. That was their big guest. And I was like, who the hell is Phil Zimmelman? Right? And I like walk over to his table and, you know, he's got like the Punisher covers. It's like, holy shit, it's that guy! Cause, you know, I love those covers.
Right.
And he was like, there was nobody at his table. He was a big dude, big hairy dude. I mean, like he was a large man and he had tons of hair everywhere. And he was just sitting behind his table drawing. And like looking at his drawing, he wasn't looking up at all.
Right.
And I just walk over to his table and he's just selling like expensive shit, you know, because like prints and posters. And I was like 12.
Right.
So I had I was like, no, can't buy anything. But he had a half comic box on his table, just like a 100 count comic box. And it was just full of random comics that weren't done by him. Like I remember specifically there like the one that caught my eye was the first book in the box was a Clive Barker. It was like Books of the Damned with a Simon Bisley cover.
Okay.
And so I walk over and I'm like flipping through them, and there's a sign on the front of the box like handwritten, and it says, "Comics in this box are free, or $1 if you ask why." And I just stood there, and he like never even looked up from his drawing tablet, and I was just standing there looking at the comic books. And I pulled out $1. and I picked out my Books of the Damned book, and I set it on the table in front of him, and I handed him $1, and he just like looks up from his, he doesn't move his hands at all, but he like looks up from his drawing, and he like looks down and sees the $1 on the table, and I was like, I gotta know why, and he goes, just take the comic and go. He wouldn't take my $1, and he wouldn't tell me why. He was so fucking awesome. What a cool guy.
That is a fantastic tactic. The next time you do space,
Yeah.
you put a sign up, all comics free, or $1 if you ask why.
I'll probably sell the same amount as I always do.
But you'll probably sell.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. People are like, I gotta know why.
So now you just need to come up with a story.
Yeah, yeah. He didn't have a story.
It's true. But he also didn't take your $1.
That's true,
You
yeah.
want these people's $1.
That's true. I'm no Phil Zimmerman. I need cash. Although, more on this later, I am now an official professional comic book artist as of today.
Well, then I think that's as good a place as any to take a break. And we'll come back and find out why.
Oh, all right.
I'll pay you $1.
Just take your $1, kid, and get out of here.
The Punisher, Circle of Blood. Go read it.
Oh, yes. Well, hey, welcome back to Gutter Trash.
Ooh.
We're enjoying some gum.
Yes, we are. We're now grossing out the listener.
But it's good gum. My mouth feels like alive.
Yeah?
Like there's like a sexy iceberg floating around in it.
That's what Dentine Ice will do to you.
Sexy icebergs.
Sexy icebergs in your mouth.
This sounds like a really bad Mad Lib. Like someone put in the word iceberg.
Right.
Like you could take like a script from a porn and make Mad Libs out of it. We should do that. Because when I was a kid, we had Spider-Man and Hulk Mad Libs.
Right.
And we just put in naughty words where, every time they said noun or at.
Right, yeah.
But maybe we should do a reverse to like make up for it. Like take like the script of porns and like put in nice words.
Yeah, yeah.
That could be our $1 million idea.
Sure, or boring and tedious. Whatever.
Hey, at least we end up getting to watch porn. At the end of the day,
That's true.
there is that bottom line.
Yeah, sometimes it's all I've got.
Mm-hmm. Hey, there's nothing wrong with a little X-rated action.
Nope. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm alright.
No.
So, you gave us a little tease there before we left.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Let's hear that story.
Yeah, you're listening to the voice of a professional comics artist, ladies and gentlemen. Today at We Care Arts, my other job, I started actually, cause if you read the Day Off Diary thing, I mentioned before how me and my friend Lauren were working on a comic together. We were just writing it. Today I started drawing it, and I was literally paid an hourly wage to draw comics for three hours today.
Nice.
So I did 2 pages in 3 hours. I was paid $8 an hour. So, what does that work out to? $24 to draw 2 pages. My page rate is about $12 a page. Maybe a little bit less than what, your Jim Lees and your Francis Maniples are getting, but, I'll take it.
Right.
Because it's something.
You also produced more than either of those two guys would in a week.
That's true. Well, unfortunately, it's only going to be a 12-page comic.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking after 5 more weeks of working, because I just work there 1 day a week, after 5 more weeks, I'm no longer going to be a professional comics artist.
Right.
So my days are numbered.
Oh, you gotta take it where you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, it just feels good to break in.
That's right, yeah. After this, I might pull a Zimmerman and just kind of go into retirement. Hang up my airbrushes.
Right. Yeah, we looked up Phil Zimmelman in the break, and he hasn't done a terrible lot since about the mid-90s or so. But,
Yeah.
I'm sure he's doing something.
I bet he gets commission requests.
sure
I mean,
that.
people love those covers.
Yeah.
They remember that guy.
I'm sure he's doing concept work or character design or something like that. Video games.
I'd like to see, I know they listed, he did some coloring work and he did some actual, penciling or whatever.
Right.
I don't know that I've ever seen anything that I realize he's done other than color these covers, so I'd like to see what his personal artwork looks like.
Right.
I'd be curious.
It would be a curiosity.
Yeah.
All right.
So what's going on? What's the house?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Yeah. And,
We had our big 200.
we had our big 200. That took a lot out of me.
Yeah. You did all the work.
Yeah. Can't deny that. First episode of the Stupid Sexy Podcast is going to get recorded this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah.
Saturday?
Yep.
Sweet.
Let's see. Broke my car.
Oh. It still drives.
It still drives. I just, I ran into a fence. It's not major, it's just my bumper. But still, it sucks. You know, just that feeling.
Right.
That you're an idiot.
Aw. You're not.
The entire world can look at my bumper and see the proof of my idiocy.
Well, they don't know that it was your fault.
Eh,
Could have been some other guy.
yeah. But I know.
Yeah. Aw. That's hardly noticeable. And there's only 2 people listening to this, including us.
Right.
So no one else knows.
Seriously, you people suck.
Which ones?
The people not talking to us.
Oh.
People not listening, even though they tell us they do.
Well.
I guess. I don't know.
Oh, we love them.
Do we?
We would just like to hear some feedback.
We would like to hear some feedback, and we would like people to listen.
Mm-hmm. They would probably say we should get better, but that's not going to happen.
No. We are,
This is the plateau.
the course is set.
Yeah.
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 200 episodes in. This is as good as we get.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about that movie we watched on Saturday.
Fuck yeah, we should. That was amazing.
It was pretty amazing. Where you came over for Drawing Night, as you do each and every Saturday,
Yes.
except for this upcoming week.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to put something on that was going to be, just mostly filler.
Little background noise.
Little background noise while we draw, and we had previously been talking about Vincent Price, and a severe lack of Vincent Price movies in our lives.
Yeah. It's like I think we were both like Edward Scissorhands and Dead Heat, yeah. And that's clearly not the top of his barrel.
Nope. So I was just scrolling around through Netflix trying to find something random to watch. And I found a Vincent Price movie. And I said, yes, this is what we're going to watch. It was called The Comedy of Terrors. Starring Vincent Price, Peter Lorre, Boris Karloff, Rhubarb, and Basil Rathbone.
In that order.
In that
And Rhubarb is not like, it's not like RuPaul or something where it's like
Nope.
some fancy, like, swinging transvestite from the 50s. It's a kitty cat.
It's a cat. Cat has billing over Basil Rathbone, who is probably the most recognizable Sherlock Holmes that has ever been on film. It was his movies that added that the cap and the pipe and everything that you associate with Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that.
Billed under a cat.
Well, I wonder if it's one of those things, though, like, a lot of times they always save the best, like, and Yaphet Kotto, like, if somebody has, like, a small role, sometimes they, like, save the good star. Like,
Right.
and Bruce Willis and
Right.
something, but
It could be.
I'm sure that's how he rationalized it, at least.
Sure.
And then he murdered that fucking cat.
Well, I did some research on that cat.
Oh, really?
Has an IMDb page.
Rhubarb has an IMDb.
Oh, that's the thing. His name's not Rhubarb.
Really?
No, his name is Orangey.
Orangey?
Yeah.
Rhubarb was the character he played?
No, the character he played was Cleopatra.
Oh, wow, I'm really confused.
Yeah, but he also played a character called Rhubarb in another movie called Rhubarb.
Huh. Okay.
Which,
So he got typecast.
he got typecast, yeah. People clearly had fond memories of the movie Rhubarb, and they had to, cast him in that.
It's like when people run into whatever this guy's name is on the street, they don't say, hey, whatever his name is, they say, hey, Screech!
Exactly.
You're Screech!
Yeah. Exactly.
Same thing.
Yep. Dustin Diamond.
Wow! Dustin Diamond?
Yeah.
you sure it's not like a wrestler or a porn star?
Well, he has been in a porn.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Screech was in a porn.
Uh-huh.
That's terrible news.
I believe it revolved around a Dirty Sanchez.
Are you serious?
I am 100% serious.
Was Zach in the movie too?
Just Screech. He is the only one who has fallen.
It wasn't called like Shaved by the Bell or...
I don't know. We'll research it later and come back with the news in another episode. Yes, this is all things that have happened.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, back to Rhubarb in a minute.
Yeah, that's fine. So Rhubarb is a movie about a cat whose owner dies and leaves the cat his entire fortune and a baseball team. And then wackiness ensues.
Oh, wow.
I guess that movie was so popular that,
The kids were going crazy for it. There's hula hooping around town, drinking malts and demanding more rhubarb.
yeah.
So was the cat like the manager of the baseball team, you think? Like,
Basically, yeah.
making like trading decisions?
Sure, yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't know a thing about this movie other than what I read on IMDb. Because I'm just fascinated that the cat was top billed in the Comedy of Terrors. But the movie was awesome.
It was fucking great.
Yeah. It's a comedy horror movie with Vincent Price playing a murderous funeral director.
Yeah.
And a drunkard.
Yeah. And he was, I guess apparently, like, you told me he's been in a bunch of comedies. First one I've ever seen, unless you count, like, Edward Scissorhands.
Right.
But I mean, like, as far as, like, him doing comedy, he was great.
Oh, yeah.
He has very good comedic timing. We could use a little Vincent Price here.
Yeah, we could. Because all I can say is go watch that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
And that cat is adorable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So is that Peter Lorre.
Oh, yeah, he's pretty adorable, too. And Boris Karloff
Can you imagine, like, just curling up
with a Peter Lorre.
on your lap and, like, watching a movie? You got a blanket out there. Maybe, like, your favorite hot beverage. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, but good call. I'd never even heard of that movie.
I hadn't either. It was, like I said, it was just random. Flipping through the Netflix, saw Vincent Price, said, hey, why not?
So I think I've seen more Vincent Price movies in the last week than I have in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I watched The Bat the other day.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty good. Not as good as Comedy of Terrors, though.
Right. Well, Rhubarb wasn't in it.
No, I don't believe so. This was pre-Rhubarb.
Right.
He was still on the casting couches of Hollywood at this point, trying to break in. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I did something fun yesterday.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Because we usually do our show here on Sunday nights.
We usually do.
But, me and my friend Zippy and his lady friend Becky, we went, to Indianapolis.
Oh, far away, Indianapolis.
It was very far away. And, we went to this, like, 100-year-old theater. It was like, I think it's from 1919. I forget what it's called. The Murat or something. M-U-R-A-T. And, we saw Andrew Bird play live. And it was fucking amazing. He, is a showman and a half.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like fire pits and,
Well, nothing that extravagant, but he does a lot of, like, I mean, he plays different instruments, not all at the same time, but you're out, yeah. Not all at the same time, but like, he would, like, play a little, cause he was the violin player in Squirrel Nut Zippers.
Okay.
And then he, like, kind of broke out and did his own thing. And, like, he'll, like, play a little violin piece, and he's, like, recording it with his, like, a foot pedal, like, looping it.
Right.
And then, like, he, presses the button on the foot pedal, and it starts looping it, and then he, like, plays a different part, so he's, like, I mean, you're not hearing a stock recording, it's like he recorded it 4 seconds ago.
Right.
And then he, like, plays this new stuff on top of it, and then, like, it was really neat, and he'll, like, I don't know. There's just all these crazy effects, and he was controlling them. And
I've seen that before. I remember watching an episode of Late Night with Conan O'Brien where some band, that's what they did.
mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing video of, can't remember the guy's name, but he was the former guitar player for Limp Bizkit.
Oh, okay.
This was like after he quit Limp Bizkit. It was just him on stage with his guitar, and he would just start playing riffs and stuff and recording them all and looping them all, and like eventually like building up into like a song that he was playing. I find that tedious.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I would have hated that show.
This was probably more subtle than that, though, because, I mean, it was just like it wasn't even obvious that was what was going on right at first. You know, he wasn't like, I'm gonna be doing this or anything.
Right.
But, man, it was amazing. Like, and plus, I mean, like 2 or 3 of his albums are just like some of my favorite albums ever, and he played songs for him, and I don't know. It was a great show. Plus, the theater was just amazing. It was very reminiscent of that theater. I forget what it's called that we saw, Never Not Funny Yet.
Okay, sure.
It was kind of like that, only like the one we saw that was, I mean, like, this isn't a slag on that theater because it still was awesome, but it was like kind of ran down.
Right.
But this one, like, it looks like they'd really kept it up, and so it was like this beautiful theater. And this was the good part too. We were 4 rows back, like it was like the stage and then the orchestra pit, and then we were just 4 rows back. So we had a really good, view of everything, and it sounded amazing. But, like, that was in Indianapolis, and, like, I didn't get back home till like 2 in the morning, and I had to get up at 7:30 for work, so I was like, this sucks. But other than that, like, it was great. It was totally worth it.
Were you driving though?
No, I was like, I'll just sleep on the way back, but, Zippy was tired.
Oh, yeah.
So, Zippy was driving, so he pretty much talked to me the whole time, and like, I tried to keep him awake, because his girlfriend was like falling asleep in the back seat. So, yeah. I mean, it was good though, it was a good time. It was cool. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's pretty much been my week.
Yeah, I didn't do anything yesterday. So,
Sure you did some drawing, right?
Nobody's here about that.
Yeah.
So, let me pick a movie so that I can go to bed.
Oh yeah. But see, I've already had my nap and I don't have to get up early tomorrow, so.
Yeah, well, I had a nap and I'm still exhausted.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just not feeling well, so. I'm gonna pick a movie that we're gonna watch for the next episode.
Rhubarb?
Sadly, no. Yeah.
Does it at least have rhubarb in it?
It very well might. I don't know. Probably not. Because this movie came out about 10 years after Comedy of Terrors.
Okay.
So, probably was not alive at the time.
Aw, now I'm just sad.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing that up. The short lifespan of rhubarb.
I'm sure he lived a long and healthy life.
Next you're going to tell me Peter Lorre and Vincent Price are dead.
I'm also going to hate to tell you that the movie I did pick probably is full of dead people.
Oh no!
So the movie I'm picking, on top of it all, is called Murder by Death.
Isn't that a Motorhead song?
It's Killed by Death.
Killed by...
And I think you just gave away the song I was going to pick. Next episode too.
I'm sorry.
Nah, I'm probably not going to pick that song. Murder by Death.
That's a real thing.
It is a real thing. Movie came out in 1973, starring Peter Falk, Peter Sellers, David Niven, and it's a murder mystery comedy.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds really cool. I look forward to it.
Alrighty then.
Kind of easing us into the Halloween theme there. A little murder, a little death.
A little bit, yeah.
It's cool.
We had some murder in the book we read today.
That's true.
Yeah. We're a murderous bunch.
We love killing stuff.
We do, indeed.
It's the only thing that keeps us from actually committing murders.
Yeah.
Is reading about it constantly.
Pretty much. Yeah. Alright then.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah. All right.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Gutter Trash. You can subscribe to the show from guttertrash.net or from iTunes and leave us a review. Visit guttertrash.net for email information, links to our Facebook and Twitter pages, and for other podcasts and websites in the Gutter Trash Network. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.